Hey Alex, this is Cris from ASG, and I wanted to thank you for sending in this video for some feedback. So the first thing is first, there's already a lot of good things happening in this piece by Gaspar Sanz. I actually really like this piece and I worked on it many years ago. So let's just jump right into things. So let's take a look at your playing and then we're going to jump into some comments. Okay, so a lot of good things already. So your left hand's moving, your right hand's moving, so I'm just going to give you a couple tips to help sort of fine-tune both of them. So now, the first thing is first. Let's look at the left hand here. So right now you can see your left hand thumb is peeking over the neck right here, and that your fingers are all sort of they're not evenly placed. So I'm just going to talk about positioning for a second, okay? So when playing classical guitar, we want to have the ideal left hand position, right? So we have what's called a C shape here. Some people refer to it as holding a tennis ball, and other people refer to it as sort of having a drop of water in your hand. But whatever people refer to it as, what we want is we want a nice relaxed hand shape with our wrists more or less straight, our fingers curved, and our thumb just sort of relaxed, right? Because our thumb is going to go behind the neck. So now with this nice curve in our fingers, you know, we're going to be working from these top knuckle joints here. So we have our top knuckle joint, our middle joint, and our tip joint here. So the left hand is going to be moving from here, right? So you're going to be like wiggling your fingers like this. So on the guitar neck, we're just taking this nice shape, this curve, and putting it right here on the 7th fret, for example, right? So now, we have our nice curve. We have some space right here between our palm and fingers and the fretboard. That gives us space to really play the guitar. Okay? So now, we want to be able to move our fingers up and down the neck, what I like to refer to as vertically, and side to side here, what I refer to as horizontally, just to keep things very simple. So what I suggest to everyone is, with this basic hand shape, to just practice just moving around the fretboard, just keeping the thumb relaxed, because a lot of guitarists, our thumb tends to get very tense and it also tends to peek over the fretboard. Now, that's fine if you're playing certain chords on an electric or acoustic guitar, but for classical guitar, we want to really focus on keeping our thumb relaxed and behind the neck and following the fingers up and down and side to side on the guitar, vertically and horizontally here, okay? So, what that means also is, if we're going to be putting our fingers on the 6th string, our thumb is going to be sort of following that. It's going to be a little bit higher on the, well, higher behind the neck, vertically, right? And if we're playing on the 1st string, our thumb has moved and it's going to be much higher, closer to the floor, right? So let me demonstrate from behind the neck here. Okay, so now here I am at the 5th fret, on the 6th string, my thumb is a little bit higher, and then here I'm at the 1st string, and my thumb is much lower. Just like that, very simply. I'm not thinking too hard, and it's really just sort of, it becomes a natural movement at some point. And we just always have to remind ourselves to not let it get tense. So that's it for hand placement, right? So now, our finger placement, right? So remember how we have this nice curve? That's to let our fingers move away, move away and to the fretboard, right? So now, we want to land right on the tips of the fingers. We don't want to land too flat. That's something I noticed in the video. And what ends up happening when it's flat is that you're not having the optimal playing point for the finger. If you're on the tip of the finger, you can easily go back and go down, go back and go down. Unless we're doing bars, partial bars or full bars, you really want to try your best to always play on the tips of the fingers. So now, one thing to note is that for the guitar, we don't actually land on the exact middle of each finger. Every finger lands a little bit differently due to anatomy, right? Anatomy is just basically, you know, our body shapes, and everyone has a different hand and body, and basically that. So now, on the first finger, you're going to land a little bit more on the right side. The middle finger will land more in the middle. The ring finger will also land in the middle, and the pinky really depends here, because I've seen some all sorts of different pinkies in my life, but you're generally going to land more on the left side of the pinky. Some people are able to land more in the middle. Depends if you have a short pinky or long pinky. And so that's it for finger placement, right? So a simple exercise I'd like to give everyone is to just do a chromatic exercise, right? Going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the guitar. So I'm going to do that at the 5th fret right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just going up and down the strings right now. 1, 2. So what I'm doing right now is just making sure that each finger is moving in a relaxed way, not being too tense, and other things is not going too far away from the neck. So my fingers, some people, their fingers go really far away from the neck, and other people do sort of like have their finger go inwards, and we don't want either of those. We just want our fingers to have like a nice curvature and not go too far away from the fretboard. I believe about an inch is what's recommended in some technique books. And so really, yeah, you don't really want to go much further than an inch away from the neck. And that way your fingers can easily reach for whatever it is you're going to play, whatever note you're going to play. Okay, so that's it for fingers and hand positioning. So that should help in regard to playing some of the notes in the Canarios by Gaspar Sanz here. So now let's just take a look at the right hand. Okay, so there's some faint notes here, and what that is usually an indicator of is that we're not striking the string properly. So just revisiting some fundamentals here. Let me just demonstrate. I'm going to adjust my camera here. Okay, so if I place all my fingers in the proper classical guitar position, it's going to look like this. You're going to have curved right hand fingers right here on the top 3 strings with each string, and the index, middle, and ring finger. Our thumb is going to be on the D string. This is just for simplicity right now. And what we want is we want our top knuckle joint here to play each string, right? We don't want to move too much from the tip joint, which is what you're doing in this video, and from the middle joint, and the tip joint here is we're not really going to use that. Let's not worry about that right now. We want to focus on getting the movement coming from the top knuckle joint here. So what does that mean? So now my index finger is on the string here. The top knuckle joint is roughly over the string here. So here's the G string, and my knuckle is over it, because you want that leverage, right? You want that leverage from the finger because you want that energy to go into the string and into your palm. Same thing with the middle finger. And then the ring finger too, which is a little bit trickier. So now with all 3 together, we're moving from the top joint, and we're going to be putting the energy in from there. So really think of the energy coming in towards the string, inwards towards the guitar, and then releasing it into the palm. Boom. Palm. So now, one quick word here is called planting. Planting is when all our fingers are on the string. It can be called planting on the string or preparing on the string. But every guitarist does this to a degree because it's helpful to us to play the proper notes and to make less mistakes. So we're going to put all our fingers on the strings, planting, and then we're going to put the energy into the strings, and then we're going to release it into the palm. Like that. Now the thumb is slightly different. That one puts the energy going more in a downward direction, like this. Still, you have the tip joint, the top joint here, the middle joint, well, sorry, tip joint, middle joint, and then you're going to have the thumb going downwards. The energy is going to go down. And the other ones go inwards. Down with the thumb. So now this can be a little bit tricky, but it becomes more natural over time. So now I'm going to do all of them together. Okay, so that's it for some quick notes on the right hand and going from the top knuckle joint here, okay? So now in regards to this piece, there's a lot of movement. So there's a lot of arpeggios going on. Well, a lot of sort of, well, really just movement happening, right? So I don't have the music in front of me. Please send it to me next time so I can look at it as I do the video review. And what's really going to happen here is you're going to want each finger to do this movement from the top knuckle joint as you're playing each note, right? So it's going to be all sorts of different movements with the right hand. So what you're going to focus on is getting each finger to move from the top knuckle joint, no matter what fingering you're using for the piece of music. And there's a lot of movement with the thumb in this piece as well. A lot of playing of the bass notes, correct? But luckily the thumb is able to move around very easily without too much trouble. Okay? So now, let's take another look again at the video and see some other things to talk about. Okay, so right there, once again, just a quick moment here, right there, see, your pinky is landing flat. You want to avoid that. Be careful with that. You want it to land right on the tip no matter what you're playing on the guitar, okay? Okay, let's just skip around here a little bit. See, right here, once again, your thumb is way over the neck, and that's forcing your other fingers to sort of work a little bit harder. So really be careful about that. Make sure your thumb is following the fingers, okay? Okay, oh, here. So your pinky looks like it's very tense and extended right now. Which brings me up to an excellent point here. For the video reviews, it's great if I can see your whole body and what's happening. Your hands, your body, because how we place our bodies to play the guitar also matters, okay? If I can't see that your full body, it might make it difficult to see what's going on with the right hand or the left hand, or maybe our sitting position is also something that really affects how we play the guitar. Because you're sitting in a low chair, it sort of adjusts the position of the guitar and how we play the instrument. If you're sitting on something too high, you know, it might be really awkward for our arms to play the guitar. So it'd be great for the next video review to send an angle where we can see the complete picture so that we can give you a full feedback on everything. But anyways, back to the pinky issue on the right hand, right? So here, what happens to a lot of guitarists is that they have their pinky sort of extended as they play. That's usually a sign of tension. So just without thinking too much about this, just tell your pinky to sort of follow what your ring finger is doing, okay? Just let it follow exactly what your ring finger is doing. And then in the future, we can discuss more in depth with what we do with it, because some guitarists do use their pinky to play. I occasionally use my pinky to play chords and things, but really we want the pinky to just sort of follow exactly what the ring finger is doing. We don't want it to let it extend like this because that's tension. It tenses up our muscles going into our arm, and it's going to affect how we use the rest of our hand. So really just don't let your pinky stick out so much. Just let it relax and move with the ring finger. And the way I suggest you work on this is just very slowly with open strings. I tell all of my students and everyone I know about practicing to practice slowly and to practice with open strings, because it lets us focus exactly on what our hands are doing. right? So here, don't let your pinky stick out. I can already feel that tensing up the rest of my hand, here especially. I want it to relax, the pinky to relax, and just move with the rest of my fingers. Well, sorry, the ring finger. Okay? So I think that pretty much covers it for this video. We can do a follow-up one. Just send us an email. And there's a lot of good stuff happening. And if you have any questions, just reach out to us and we'll get back to you right away. All right, so thanks again, Alex, and see you next time. All right, bye-bye.